Parkour is a movement discipline, the purpose of which is moving from A to B in as efficient way as possible and just getting over physical objects that are in our way. So my name is Jim Key and I am the head coach for Single Bar Parkour as well as one of the directors of the Level Up Academy. Parkour kind of originated in Lisses in France in the last sort of 20, 30 years. One of the main pioneers really was David Belle. Inspired by his father, David had realized that he wanted to be similar to that. He wanted to be a similar level of physical ability to what his dad was. So for me, I kind of started for a very similar reason to what most people did, which is just that it was cool, it was fun, it looked good. We saw videos on the internet, Speed Airman, which was one of David Belle's first videos. And at the time I was practicing martial arts and I always really enjoyed them. I got a lot out of them, but I always felt that there was something kind of missing. When I saw parkour, just like kind of a lot of people, we saw it and we realized, right, that's what's been missing. That's the thing that we'd been wanting to do, but had no idea how to start, what it really even was. And then really it just kind of, for me, it developed from there. My inspiration kind of came from basically just seeing these guys, realizing that there was nothing particularly special about them. They certainly didn't have any superpowers. These guys were doing some stuff that normal people couldn't do. People could jump, people could run, people could climb, but what they were doing was just so far beyond that. When we started, there was nobody out there teaching. I mean, even the founders, even the French guys, weren't really teaching. There was no real structure to learning the methods of parkour, so we just had to make it all up. And as a result, some of us were just jumping off things that were really high and expecting that not to have any effect on us. But although it might not have affected us that day, a few months later we started to get, oh, my knee's really aching, my ankles really hurt. So I was training martial arts, I got this injury and it kind of ran over into parkour because I thought it was okay. I'd been and I had it checked out. I gave it a couple of months worth of not training on it. And then I went back out, started training parkour again, and the first jump I did, but as soon as I landed, my knee just completely caved in. So I tore my anterior cruciate ligament and I tore meniscus cartilage in my knee and was out for a long, long time. I had to have 2 separate surgeries and it really was it was a big injury for me. The unfortunate thing was it came at a really, really bad time. And basically me and the other sort of founder of Single Bar Parkour, Dale, he came to Leeds and we decided, right, we're going to do this properly. We're going to go all out. We're going to form a coaching company officially. We're going to make a big kind of a go of it. And then about a month later, I injured my knee. So that was a really significant bump in the road because that kind of meant that I was unable to teach and unable to work in a job that we had just started doing. So I'd quit my other jobs because if I'm going to do it, I might as well do it properly. The first few years were a pretty rocky road anyway because this is a sport that really, I mean, even now, a lot of people still don't know what it is. It would be very difficult, even though we had official qualifications. It was very difficult for anyone to kind of take us seriously. Oh, you're just jumping around and messing about, and is that you're going to teach these kids to do it, or you're going to come and work in this school and you're going to teach these kids to jump off roofs and be really stupid and dangerous? And we had to explain every single time, and it was really difficult to kind of get any legitimacy from that. Starting it up was just a learning process, but it was a really exciting one because once we actually started getting work, started being able to go into work every day, it suddenly all became worth it. So all the not having very much money, all the kind of sharing a room in a rented house, which me and Dale did at one point, which we shouldn't have done. We couldn't afford to get a room each, so we had to share one, or living almost exclusively off like 10 pence packets of noodles, which we did for well over a year. All those sacrifices suddenly became worth it because I would go into work when everybody else was in their offices or whatever, doing what they were doing, and I was just teaching people how to do this thing that I love to do. If you're one of those people that you're trying to make a load of money out of it, then parkour coaching is not what you should be doing. I do it because I love it. I do it because I can survive just about. I mean, I do still ride around on a scooter rather than buying a car because I don't have a great deal of money. I live in a very cheap house, so I don't really care too much about having a lot of material things, which helps. We spent years not making any money and not being taken seriously by facilities and by organisations all over the area. It was tricky, it was a learning experience, but it was ultimately completely worth it. Future of parkour as a sport is hard to say because it's so young. No one can really remember the last time that a big sport that a lot of people were involved in got started. And the great thing is that every generation of parkour practitioners learns faster and gets better than the people that went before. You know, I can teach people in 6 months what took me 5 years to learn. And some of the stuff that parkour practitioners are doing now, I don't even understand how they're doing it. Parkour filled a void that nothing else did. I always felt like there was something I could be doing that was better than what I was doing. You know, there is definitely something to be said for improving yourself physically so that you are capable of doing more things. One of the mottos of parkour that we got right from the beginning, right from the founders, is be strong to be useful. You have this way of being useful to yourself. You know, you're making yourself more capable than you would ever have been without parkour. When we have our grand opening, the future is whatever it's going to be, and we have absolutely no idea. We could crash and burn, or we could be what we hope to be, a massively successful facilitator for coaches of other sports, teachers that can't find places to go or the right equipment to train on. And once that hits, that's it. You know, we've achieved it, we've done it. This dream that we've had for such a long time has finally kind of come true, which I'm really excited for. Can't wait for that.